Hi everyone, welcome to the Swedish movie Critic and welcome to my review of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. This will be a spoiler-free review. We have Paul Rudd back as Scott Lang, also known as Ant-Man, and Evangeline Lilly as the Wasp, as they travel to the quantum realm for the latest Marvel adventure, and they encounter the new big bad villain Kang, played by Jonathan Majors. We also have Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer back from the earlier movies, and it's directed by Peyton Reed, who also directed the first and second Ant-Man movie. I have enjoyed many of the Marvel movies. I've seen almost all of them in the theater, and I think they had their prime up until Endgame. And my favorite Marvel movie is still Infinity War. I think that's the greatest one. The first Marvel movies has a great build-up to the confrontation with Thanos and that storyline. But I think afterwards, Marvel has lost their way a bit. They changed their course into the multiverse with multiple storylines, and I think Marvel feels for me a little bit lost, like where they're going to go with the story. It feels like they don't have that sort of overall story arc. The story structure isn't really there, and they're just trying different things. And I think one problem can also be with multiverses, that you can always bring character back because you have different realities, and in that way I think you lose a lot of the drama in the storytelling as well. For me, Quantumania was one of the weakest Marvel movies. I think it has a problem with the story, and a lot of it also takes place in the quantum realm, and I think the design and effects look great. But at the same time, about 95% of the movie is made in front of a green screen. So it feels very small and confined in a way in this quantum world. It has some fun design and great visuals, but so much takes place in front of the green screen. It feels a little bit too confined for the story, and a big part of Ant-Man as well is, of course, the way he shrinks and gets bigger. You play a lot with the scale. And for me, that also feels very strange. You put him in the quantum realm and you have different scales of things that's not real. So you don't really know how the scale works in comparison to that. So I think the whole purpose of Ant-Man in a way gets pushed aside. You get some of this action like in the other movies, but for me it just doesn't work when it's in this fantasy world and you can't really relate with the scale of things. We have Jonathan Majors as Kang, and he was also introduced before in the Loki TV series. And I think he's a good actor. I think he does what he can with the role, but at the same time, I had bigger hopes for Kang because he's supposed to be this new big villain of the MCU after Thanos, which was a great villain. And I think Kang here just feel like this standard Saturday morning cartoon. I think his motivation are vague, and it's also a little bit hard to relate to them since his goals are a little bit on the extreme and fantastical side. I think what made Thanos such a great villain is that you sort of could understand his logic, even if he was this mad god, this mad titan. But you can understand in some way where he came from. But Kang for me feels way too abstract, and also because of the multiverse there's so many versions of Kang, so you also lose a lot of the drama, I think, for him as a villain, even if Jonathan Majors is a great actor. We also have Catherine Newton as Cassie Lang. She's newly cast for this one as Scott Lang's daughter, and she's fine, but she doesn't get too much to do as well. The Marvel movies starts to feel very formulaic in a way, and it feels like basically they just put together in a Marvel factory and here's a new movie. And I think it would be interesting to take the story in a more different approach and try to do some more, bolder moves, maybe with the characters as well. Paul Rudd is always charming and good as Ant-Man, but I feel that the humor didn't land, even if it's nice to see the actors back in their roles. Always good to see Michael Douglas as Dr. Hank Pym. He's always a great presence, and I also like Michelle Pfeiffer. She gets more to do acting-wise in this one. But for me, sort of a weak Marvel movie. I think the script has problems. and it feels formulaic. So much is done in front of the green screen that the effect of Ant-Man as a character sort of loses its purpose in a way. I think the first Ant-Man is still the best. I think it has a more smaller, no pun intended, personal story. And a second one was okay as well. But this one, I feel like Marvel Studios wanted to take the character and put him in a more epic story. But in that sense, it also loses the character's purpose in a way, for me at least. I think if you're a Marvel fan and enjoy these movies as just popcorn movies and entertaining movies, I think you will feel that you will get your money's worth. But for me, Marvel needs a new sort of focus, a new direction, and this is supposed to be the start of Phase 5, and for me it just feels like this same tired formulaic setup as the latest Marvel movies, and I think they really need some new direction and some new energy for Phase 5. And so much of the dialogue in this movie is just exposition, and you need to have more character moments and more character-driven scenes and not just so much exposition. You need to feel the characters and also feel the threat of the villain. For me, it just didn't work. So have you seen Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? Let me know in the comments below. If this is your first time to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find me on YouTube and TikTok. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.